Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucimus Prime here. So it is time for another episode of Movie That Didn't Need a Sequel. Now, in today's video, guys, I'm going to cover this time an example of a musical comedy movie which, in my opinion, did not need a sequel, and also, in my opinion, works best as a standalone movie. So this is one of my favourite musical comedies I've seen so far, and I definitely had a really fun time watching this for the first time on Amazon Prime, and I even own the first movie, of course, on Blu-ray. And it's all I want to ever going to own in this franchise. And this film, which in my opinion did not need sequels, is none other than 2012's Pitch Perfect. So, you guys probably wonder, what do I think of this movie? Well, this, in my opinion, is a very fun movie. In my opinion, I have a really fun time watching it. I think it's full of really funny moments and also a very good story, of course, about a group of singers, of course, competing against another group in their college to win, of course, a contest. And it's definitely, you know, in my opinion, a very good movie. And I definitely really have, you know, fun watching it. I think it's a very good movie. And I think it does have an amazing ending because of course, at the finals, the group, of course, who are, of course, called the Bellas, perform a song. And of course, as well, they're able to win the championship narrowly as well. And it has a very good ending for all the characters, in my opinion, and it gives closure to them. And as far as I'm concerned, guys, I did not see any sequel setups whatsoever at the end, no, for these characters. All I saw was, like, auditions for, like, new members taking place with a pretty funny camera print by Christopher Mintz-Plasse, really. So, yeah, they didn't do any sequel setups whatsoever. So, as far as I'm concerned, guys, Pitch Perfect to me is only the one movie. However, unfortunately, despite me thinking this film should only be one movie alone, it's unfortunately got followed by two sequels. The first of which, of course, being 2015's Pitch Perfect 2, which, in my opinion, is an example of a disappointing sequel. Now, while it does have a few funny moments, in my opinion, I feel it does lack some things that made this first movie great, in my opinion. And one thing it does is it unfortunately breaks a big rule in doing sequels, in which you should not ruin the ending of the first movie. Because this film unfortunately breaks that rule because it puts the group back to how they were in the first movie. And it also has a very cringe opening as well. Like, a very cringe opening scene. Like, goodness me. Like, I don't know what happened at all, but it was just, you know, shocking, and it led to their suspension, of course, from the championship. So yeah, like, goodness me. So yeah, this film, in my opinion, was a letdown, mainly because of the opening scene being pure cringe to see. I'm not going to go into details of how bad it is. If you want to see how bad it is, then, you know, see the movie for yourself. It's not good, in my opinion. And it's also, as well, wastes some characters because the leader of Bella's called Aubrey Posen, of course. It is hardly in the sequel. She barely appears at all until, like, maybe like an hour into a movie or so. So, like, they really underused her, which is disappointing. So, yeah, this sequel, in my opinion, was very disappointing and was not needed because, as far as I'm concerned, guys, the first one did not set up any sequels. However, despite this film, of course, you know, not being that good, in my opinion, it somehow received positive reviews from critics and grossed over $287 million worldwide. And it surpassed the total gross of the first movie in 5 days and became the highest grossing musical comedy of all time, overtaking School of Rock, which really annoys because I love that movie. School of Rock's an amazing movie, in my opinion, and I can't believe this one overtook it, you know, with the grossings. So, this unfortunately meant another movie was coming, and that, of course, was 2017's Pitch Perfect 3. Oh my god. Like, I'll simply say, guys, this third film was not perfect at all. The sequels to the first film were not perfect at all. Like, goodness me. Like, just what happened with his third movie? Like, this third film, guys, is just not how you do a sequel to a great comedy movie at all. Like, everything I would not want in a comedy sequel was there in this movie. Like, goodness me. Like, I don't know what happened with this at all. Like, goodness me. Like, I don't know what happened at all. Like, when I started watching the movie, I was already hating it because of how rubbish it was. And also, guys, what's also dumb is it barely even feels like a comedy at all. Because there was hardly anything funny in the movie. Because when I watched the movie, guys, I didn't really laugh at many of the scenes. Like, I don't know exactly, you know, what the hell we were doing with this movie. Like, goodness me. Like, I was so disappointed with these sequels, and this one especially was terrible in my opinion. And it felt also more like an action movie than what was supposed to be a musical comedy. Like, it didn't feel like what's supposed to be, of course, you know, a funny musical comedy like, of course, this first movie was. So, yeah, goodness me. And it's also got rid of some characters from the previous movie made out of it no longer existed. And it also introduced annoying characters I could not care less about. Let's also not forget, of course, you know, the band in this, the rival band. One of the band members is played by Ruby Rose, who I've said, in my opinion, guys, can't act. So, yeah, and in this movie, it's definitely no exception. She can't act, in my opinion, and this movie is, like, a big example of that. Like, yeah, this film was just so disappointing on many levels. Definitely, in my opinion, the worst one of the franchise. Like, I don't know what happened with these sequels, but Pitch Perfect 3, in my opinion, was undoubtedly the worst one. Like, goodness me. Doesn't even help either that, you know, in this trilogy, of course, and there's an actress in this who I lost respect for, being Elizabeth Banks, so yeah. And she, of course, appeared in the sequels, and she even directed the second movie. So I can see why that film wasn't good, in my opinion. Because, yeah, the second film was disappointing. And the third film, however, in my opinion, though, was trash. Like, goodness me. Thankfully, however, this film, unlike the first two films, got negative reviews. Thank goodness for that. So that means that hopefully they won't be doing a fourth movie. I really hope they don't do one because there's no point. I've already said that, in my opinion, Pitch Perfect should have only been a standalone movie. And all I can say is that if they do a fourth movie, guys, I'm not going to watch it. There's no point. I will only just keep rewatching the first movie, and that's it. I will not be watching the sequels ever again. I will only rewatch Pitch Perfect 2 and 3 if I'm doing a trash talk of them. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing, because in the future, I will one day post a positive review for this movie, because I think it's a good movie, in my opinion, a very fun musical comedy. But the sequels, in my opinion, I hate, so I'm going to give them trash talks. So yeah, Pitch Perfect, in my opinion, is the absolute worst of the trilogy. So yeah, this is a trilogy which, in my opinion, should have stayed as one movie alone. Just one. So yeah, like, so if we do any more movies, guys, there's no point in me watching them, because I saw Pitch Perfect 3, guys, and I don't want to see any more, because it totally killed my interest in watching any more Pitch Perfect movies. So yeah, screw this third movie all the way. I thought it was absolute garbage. One of the worst comedy films I've seen in my life, absolutely. Like, it was just a massive letdown on so many levels. So yeah, my advice to you guys, if you want to get into these movies, is just watch the first movie instead for your own sake and stop right there. Because the sequels are just not good, in my opinion. Like, goodness me. So yeah, so long story short, guys, in my opinion, Pitch Perfect, a musical comedy from 2012, is a strong example, in my opinion, of a film that should have stayed on its own as a standalone movie and did not need sequels. So yeah, and I will only ever own the first movie on Blu-ray. There's no way I'm ever going to buy the sequels. Hell no, there's no point. There's no way I'm ever going to buy them, because the second and third films are just beyond disappointing, and the third one, especially in my opinion, is trash. So yeah. So you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let us know in the comments what you guys think of Pitch Perfect. Do you need a sequel or not? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe. Movies come in the future. If you would like to be a member, you can press join if you're using a PC or laptop, or you can in the description. And I'll see you all later.